Chapter 1. The Threat That Did Not Exist. Karim Hassan was 23 and had never once imagined dying for anything. He imagined smaller things. Rent. Always rent. The job interview Thursday morning at a tech startup that probably wouldn't hire him but might. Whether Amira from the library would answer the message he'd sent 2 days ago, the one he'd rewritten 4 times before hitting send. His mother's birthday in 3 weeks. Whether he could afford something decent after he paid utilities. He wasn't angry. He wasn't searching for meaning in manifestos or ideology or anything larger than the problem of making it to next month. He was just tired sometimes, a little lonely. A young man in Brussels trying to build something that felt like a life. That matters. Because in September 2009, in an office building in Brussels with fluorescent lights that hummed like trapped insects, a man named David Reiner opened a file with Karim Hassan's name on it. The file said, "Person of interest." It meant almost nothing. Karim went to a mosque that was on a list because someone else who went there knew someone who'd gone to a conference where extremism had been discussed. 6 degrees of separation translated into intelligence. The kind of thing that happens when a system is built to notice patterns, and patterns are all it knows how to see. Reiner read the file for 11 minutes while drinking coffee that had gone cold. Then, he signed the approval. He didn't know Karim, had never seen him count out coins for groceries or hesitate before sending a message to a girl whose laugh he'd heard once and couldn't stop thinking about. Didn't know about the Sunday phone calls to Lion or the way Karim's mother always asked if he was eating enough. What Reiner knew was pressure. 3 near-miss intelligence scares the year before. Budget cuts, then emergency increases, reorganizations that reorganize the reorganizations. A mandate repeated in every meeting until it stopped sounding like words. Prevent the next attack before it happens. Before. So the line kept moving. What counted as suspicion? What justified intervention? Karim's file moved from observation to operation. Paul Stenger was 38, charming in the effortless way some people are, and very good at making friends he didn't have. He'd gotten into the kind of debt that starts as bad luck and turns into a decade-long problem. And when someone from the agency offered him a way out, the only skill required was being likable and lying about it. He moved into an apartment 3 blocks from Karim's building in Molenbeek, started attending the same mosque, introduced himself after Friday prayers like he'd known Karim for years instead of 3 minutes. "You're Karim, right? Someone pointed you out last week. I'm Paul." Handshake, smile, suggestion of coffee. Karim liked him immediately. Brussels had been harder than he'd expected. He'd come from Lyon for a coding boot camp that had promised jobs and delivered certificates. His friends were people he saw at the mosque or the occasional football match in the park. Most of his evenings were spent in his apartment, learning frameworks from YouTube tutorials, sending out resumes that disappeared into automated rejection systems. Paul listened. Not the polite listening people do while waiting to talk. Real listening. He remembered things, asked follow-up questions, made Karim feel like the stuff he said actually mattered. In Paul's weekly reports to his handler, honesty became data. Subject socially isolated. Expresses economic frustration and feelings of marginalization within European labor market. No active radicalization indicators present. Psychologically receptive to narratives of structural injustice. Reiner read it over breakfast and underlined one phrase. increase frequency of contact, assess susceptibility to ideological framing. In plain language, push a little. See what happens. The conversation shifted so gradually Karim didn't notice. Articles Paul sent him, videos critiquing Western foreign policy. Not propaganda, nothing that obvious, just the kind of stuff that lived in the gray zone between legitimate critique and something darker. The kind of content that takes what you already feel and gives it sharper edges. Karim engaged because he cared, because he wanted words for things he'd felt but never known how to articulate, because finally, someone was taking him seriously. Then, in January, Paul introduced him to someone named Tariq. Basement apartment in Anderlecht, plastic chairs arranged in a circle, a space heater that didn't work well enough, 8 young men, and Tariq, who wasn't like Paul at all. Where Paul asked questions, Tariq delivered answers. He didn't debate, he declared. Injustice wasn't a subject for discussion. It was an established fact requiring response. Karim felt uncomfortable, not because Tariq said anything explicitly violent, because of the way the room felt when he spoke, like the walls were closer than they should be. After the second meeting, Karim pulled Paul aside. Tariq makes me uneasy. Paul tilted his head. Why? I don't know. The things he talks about feel like they're going somewhere I don't want to go. Paul put a hand on Karim's shoulder. Keep an open mind. 4 words. If Paul had said something else, if he'd said, yeah, maybe Tariq's a bit much, trust your gut, the whole thing might have ended there. A young man who briefly encountered radical rhetoric and walked away because his instincts were good, and someone he trusted told him his instincts were right. Instead, keep an open mind. And Karim, who trusted Paul with things he hadn't told anyone else in Brussels, kept an open mind. He kept going to meetings, reports escalated. Subject demonstrating ideological development, articulating grievances within operational framework. Recommend escalation to Phase 4 assessment. Phase 4 meant one question. Is he capable of violence? Reiner approved it. In March 2010, Karim tried to pull back. Something shifted. Maybe it was the phone call with his mother where she asked if he was okay, and he realized he didn't know how to answer. Maybe it was the imam pulling him aside after prayers, not to lecture, just to ask questions that made Karim realize he'd been somewhere he didn't recognize. He texted Paul, I need some space. I think I've been going too deep into stuff that doesn't feel like me. I want to focus on work and family for a while. Paul read the message and filed a report, subject showing signs of disengagement, potential self-de-radicalization in progress. Recommend intervention to prevent loss of operational momentum. Reiner initialed the approval without reading the full recommendation. 3 days later, someone searched Karim's apartment. Nothing taken. Money still in the drawer, laptop still on the desk, but everything had been touched, moved slightly, put back wrong. Karim called the police. They came, looked around, said without forced entry or theft there wasn't much they could do. Left him with a report number. He called Paul, voice shaking. They met at a café. Paul leaned across the table, face serious. Karim, this wasn't random. What do you mean? You start asking questions. You start standing out. And then suddenly your place gets searched and the police can't help you? You think that's a coincidence? You're saying, I'm saying you've been noticed, and this is what they do. They let you know you're being watched. None of it was true. The search had been ordered by Reiner's division, standard destabilization. Make the subject feel surveilled, feel targeted, feel like the system already considers him a threat. Create the conditions where paranoia isn't paranoia anymore. It's just realism. Karim sat across from Paul in that cold cafe and felt something inside him change, not toward violence, not toward ideology, toward a deep, cold certainty that his life was no longer his own. December 2010. 2 officers at Karim's door at 6 in the morning. Preventive detention, legal under counterterrorism laws, no charges required, just questions. They took him to a building with no windows and sat him in a room with a table and 2 chairs and a recording device and fluorescent lights that made everything look slightly wrong. They showed him photographs, streets he'd walked, meetings he'd attended, the ones he'd left early because they made him uncomfortable. His own building, photographed from across the street. They told him they knew everything. Karim told them the truth, that he'd gone to 2 meetings and found them disturbing, that he'd tried to distance himself, that he'd never agreed with anything violent. They listened with faces that showed nothing. 48 hours later, they released him with a warning. He walked out into the December cold and stood on the pavement. 24 years old. Coding projects, Sunday calls to his mother, 4 careful, hopeful dates with a girl named Amira who laughed at his jokes and made him feel like a person instead of a category. He had done nothing wrong, and the state had just told him, with all the authority it possessed, that none of that mattered. They had already decided who he was. He stood there and felt a door close inside him, not loudly, not dramatically, just the quiet, irreversible sound of something shutting. He took out his phone and called Tariq. Chapter 2. The Man Who Lit the Fire. Paul Stenger resigned in January 2011, not for moral reasons, not because he'd spent 4 years building false friendships and finally hit a limit. He resigned because his debt was paid and the job was done. He moved to Antwerp, got work selling insurance, and mostly succeeded at not thinking about the names in the files he'd helped create. Mostly. David Reiner didn't notice the resignation for 11 days. He had 17 active operations across 6 cities and a quarterly review coming up in Washington. When his deputy flagged it, Reiner skimmed the Hassan file for the first time in months. Last entry. Passive observation. No active threat indicators. He reassigned Tariq to Amsterdam. He left Karim Hassan with no monitoring and no human contact. He moved to the next file. What he didn't know, because no one had told him and he hadn't asked, was what Karim had done in the 3 weeks since detention. He'd called Tariq. He'd gone to 3 more meetings. He'd stopped calling his mother on Sundays. He'd stopped answering Amira's messages. He'd started spending evenings in a basement in Anderlecht with 7 other men and someone who wasn't an asset, wasn't a provocateur, wasn't being paid. Someone real. Farid Mansour was 31 and had been building his network for 7 years, not through recruitment or payment or operational directives, through patience, through finding young men at their most lost and offering them something that felt like clarity. He wasn't performing belief. He believed. That made him dangerous in a way Tariq and Paul never were. Late December 2010. Basement apartment, cold enough to see your breath. Karim sat across from Farid at a table with 2 cups of tea neither of them touched. Everyone else had left an hour ago, but Farid had asked him to stay. Farid took off his glasses and cleaned them on his shirt, put them back on, looked at Karim. "Tell me about the detention," Karim told him. "The room, the photographs, the 48 hours, the release with no charges and no explanation." Farid listened without interrupting. When Karim finished, Farid was quiet for a long time. "What did you feel when they let you go?" Karim thought about it, really thought. Like they'd already decided who I was, and nothing I could do would change it. Farid nodded slowly. "They did decide. You're right. There's a file somewhere with your name on it and a conclusion already written at the end. You're just living forward into it." He picked up his tea. Didn't drink it, set it back down. "So the question isn't whether they've decided about you. They have. The question is what you do with that knowledge." Karim looked at him. "What do you mean?" "I mean you have two choices. You can spend the rest of your life trying to prove them wrong. Be quiet. Be careful. Be so good for so long they finally revise their assessment. Pause. Or you can stop trying to change their minds and use their certainty against them." Karim felt something shift in his chest. "How?" Farid smiled. Not warm. The smile of someone who's been waiting for a question. By becoming exactly what they already think you are and making them regret being right. March 2011. Evening. Street corner near Rue de Birmingham. Jerome Lacroix was walking home when he saw Karim standing under a streetlight. Jerome worked community liaison for Anderlecht. He'd met Karim the year before at a neighborhood event, remembered him as polite, quick to laugh, the kind of kid who helped clean up without being asked. "Karim, hey, long time." Karim turned. Jerome crossed the street, already forming a question about how things were going, whether he'd found work yet. Then he saw Karim's face. Not angry, not hostile, just absent. Like someone had taken the person Jerome remembered and replaced him with a photograph. All the features right, but something essential missing. "Hey, Jerome." Flat, polite, empty. "You okay? Haven't seen you at the youth center in months. Been busy." "Yeah? With work? Other things?" Jerome tried to read his face, found nothing there to read. "Well, we still do football on Wednesdays. You should come by." Karim nodded without commitment. "Maybe." He turned and walked away. Jerome stood on that corner watching him disappear and felt something cold settle in his stomach. The next morning, he called a number he'd been given at a community safety training 3 years ago, a number he'd never used. The officer who met with Jerome was a young analyst named Sophie Vance, 26, 8 months with the division, spent most of her time reading reports about people she'd never meet. Jerome sat across from her in a windowless room and tried to explain. It's not that he said anything threatening. It's not that he did anything wrong. It's just, he was different. Like someone turned off a light inside him. Sophie took notes. "And you think this relates to radicalization?" "I don't know what to call it. I just know the person I talked to yesterday isn't the same person I met a year ago." She wrote it down, thanked him, said someone would follow up. Jerome left feeling like he'd done what he could. The report sat in a queue for 19 days, reviewed, noted, marked low priority. No one called Jerome back. May 2011. Late evening, the basement, everyone else gone. Just Farid and Karim and 2 cups of tea going cold on the table between them. Farid looked at Karim for a long time before speaking. "I need to know if you're serious." Karim's pulse quickened. "About what?" about everything we've talked about in this room for 4 months. Theory, framework, diagnosis. All of it's just words unless you're willing to move from thinking to doing. Silence. Fareed continued, voice gentle. And if you're not willing, that's fine. You're a good person, Karim. You have a good heart. You don't need to carry this. You can walk away right now and I'll think well of you. You can go back to your applications and your projects and your life. Pause. But if you stay, I need to know you understand what staying means, because once we cross from talking to planning, there's no going back. Not because I won't let you, but because you won't be able to unknow what you know. Karim sat with that. He thought about the detention, the apartment search. The file Reiner had opened in 11 minutes, the system that had decided he was a threat, and then, through deciding, had made him one. He thought about his mother, about Amira, about the interview he'd missed, the Sunday calls he'd stopped making because he couldn't explain what was happening without lying or scaring her. He thought about all of it. Then he looked at Fareed. "I'm serious." Fareed held his gaze. "Say it again." "I'm serious." Fareed nodded slowly, picked up his tea even though it was cold. Then we begin. June 2011. Sophie Vance pulled the Hassan file for a routine audit, read it from the beginning, Stenger reports, Tariq reports, detention, passive observation, then pulled Jerome's March report and laid them side by side. She sat looking at both documents for a long time. Then she stood up and walked to her supervisor's office. Paul DeMarco, 19 years with the agency, master of managing problems by not acting on them too quickly. Sophie knocked. "Paul, I need to talk about a file." He looked up from his screen. "Which one?" "Karim Hassan, passive observation. I think we reclassified him wrong." DeMarco leaned back. "What kind of wrong?" "I think he's still active. I think we pulled monitoring at exactly the wrong time and now he's in a network we're not watching." "Do you have new intelligence?" "No, but I have a community report from March that says he's changed, that he's spending time with people we don't have files on." DeMarco was quiet. "Sophie, you know how many passive observation cases we're carrying?" "No." 47, just in Belgium. If we reopen every file because someone in the community says the subject seems different, we'll spend our whole budget chasing ghosts. This isn't a ghost. This is someone we actively destabilized and then abandoned. DeMarco's expression hardened. We didn't destabilize anyone. We documented a radicalization process. That's not what the file shows. Sophie. He put his pen down. "I appreciate the diligence, but passive observation means passive observation. You get actionable intelligence. We reassess. Until then, the file stays where it is." She stood there. "So we just wait until something happens?" "We wait until we have a reason to act. That's the job." She walked out, wrote the memo anyway. Formal recommendation to reopen Hassan to active monitoring. Sent it to DeMarco with a copy to Reiner. DeMarco filed it. Reiner got it on a Thursday afternoon when 12 other things were demanding his attention. He put it in his to-read folder. 6 weeks later, he finally opened it. August 2011, Tuesday morning. Reiner read Sophie's memo twice, then pulled the Hassan file and read it from the beginning, this time actually paying attention. He sat with it for a long time, and for the first time since September 2009, David Reiner let himself see what the operation had actually done. He'd taken a lonely young man with no signs of radicalization and embedded 2 provocateurs in his life, pushed him toward ideology, destabilized him when he tried to pull back, detained him, then removed all monitoring the exact moment real actors moved into the space his operation had created. He picked up the phone. Reopen Hassan, active monitoring, priority. Timeline? Immediately. He hung up, sat at his desk, didn't move. Outside, Brussels continued. Traffic, pedestrians, ordinary Tuesday morning. His mobile rang before he could call Sophie. His deputy, voice calm, professional, explosion, café near Place Sainte-Catherine, multiple casualties, bomber ID confirmed, Karim Hassan. Reiner set the phone down without hanging up, looked at the Hassan file open on his desk, photograph paper clipped inside. Karim at 23, looking slightly left of camera, a little awkward, a little hopeful, just a person. He closed the file. Chapter 3. After the explosion. Le Petit Jardin had been open for 37 years. Marie Duchamp made the best croissants in the neighborhood. Everyone said so. Her husband Pascal handled the espresso machine. Their daughter Isabelle helped on weekends between architecture lectures. Tuesday, August 16, 2011, 9:47 a.m. 19 people inside, office workers, a retired couple, students, a mother with her 6-year-old son who'd convinced her to stop for hot chocolate, and Karim Hassan sitting near the window with a backpack under his chair and coffee he hadn't touched. 9:52. He stood, walked toward the bathroom. 9:53. The device detonated. Marie died instantly. So did Pascal. Isabelle was in the kitchen, survived the initial blast, died 17 minutes later in the ambulance. The retired couple, married 43 years, died holding hands under a table they dove beneath. The mother threw herself over her son and saved his life at the cost of her own. 2 students died. The third lost both legs, 8 dead, 14 injured. The front of Le Petit Jardin blew outward across the Place Sainte-Catherine. Karim died in the bathroom. The blast wall from 2008 renovations contained most of the force. His body was found intact enough for identification by early afternoon. Reiner stood behind police tape and looked at what remained. Smell of smoke and something worse underneath it. White sheets on the pavement, blood in the cracks between stones. Christophe Devereaux, Belgian Federal Police, approached. They'd worked together before. A disrupted plot in 2009. The kind of quiet success that builds careers. This was not that. Devereaux looked 10 years older than he had that morning. 8 dead, 14 injured, voice flat, bomber ID confirmed, Karim Hassan, Belgian national, 25. He turned to Reiner. Does that name mean anything to you? Reiner's throat tightened. Yes. Watch list. He was in our files. Active? The question hung there. No. Devereaux stared. But you knew about him. We'd known. We reclassified him to passive observation 14 months ago. Meaning what? Meaning the assessment said he wasn't priority. Devereaux looked back at the destroyed café, the sheets, the glass catching afternoon light. Your assessment was wrong. The investigation took weeks. Timeline undeniable. Initial assessment, low risk. Intervention, approved. Escalation, encouraged. Subject attempts disengagement. Intervention to prevent. Apartment search, executed by division assets. Detention, 48 hours, no charges. Monitoring withdrawn, at critical moment. Community warning, filed marked low priority. Internal recommendation delayed 6 weeks. Reactivation 1 day before explosion. Patricia Gorman, leading the investigation, sat across from Reiner after everyone else had gone. Off the record, what do you think happened? Reiner had been preparing for this, thinking about phrasing, how to acknowledge mistakes without admitting causation. He didn't use any of it. I think we took a kid who was frustrated but not dangerous, and we tested whether he could be radicalized. And the test worked. He could be. And when we walked away, real people finished what we'd started. Do you believe the operation caused this? I believe we lit a fire to see if the wood was dry. When it started burning, we told ourselves we were just documenting a natural process. So yeah, I think we caused this. Gorman made a note. That'll be in my report. I know. Won't change anything. I know that too. The report was 97 pages. Gorman's conclusion. The operation materially contributed to the outcome it was designed to prevent. She presented it to 7 senior officials in Washington. The deputy director listened, then spoke carefully. This is thorough work, but I have concerns about the language. Saying the operation caused radicalization implies intentionality the evidence doesn't support. The evidence shows every intervention pushed him closer, shows that interventions occurred and radicalization occurred. Correlation isn't causation. The timeline makes causation clear. The timeline shows sequence, but Hassan made choices, attended meetings, engaged with extremists, built a device, walked into a café. Those were his choices. Gorman set down her notes. We created the conditions for those choices. We documented conditions that already existed. She looked at him. Sir, if we don't acknowledge what happened here, we'll do it again. The deputy director leaned back. This operation attempted to identify a threat. That it was unsuccessful doesn't invalidate the methodology. 8 people died, tragic. But thousands are alive because operations like this work. One failure doesn't mean we abandon a framework that saves lives. This wasn't a failure of the framework. This was the framework working. We tested whether someone could be radicalized. We found out. 8 people paid the price. Silence. Your findings will be in the classified report. The public summary will describe this as a monitoring failure. That's a lie. That's the finding. Gorman stood. Then you'll write that summary yourself. She walked out. 3 weeks after the explosion, the city held a memorial service. Notre Dame de la Chapelle. Hundreds of people, families in front rows, city officials, people who'd never met the victims but needed to be somewhere grief was acknowledged. Reiner sat in back. The priest spoke. Officials spoke. Someone read names. Marie Duchamp, 52, Pascal Duchamp, 54, Isabelle Duchamp, 22, Robert and Genevieve Arnaud, 67 and 65, Claire Beaumont, 43, Thomas Mercier, 28, Sandrine Petit, 20. When it ended, people filed out slowly. Reiner waited until most had left, stood to go. A woman was standing at the end of his pew, mid-50s, dark coat, face that looked like it hadn't slept in weeks. You were in the back during the service. Are you family? No. Friend? No. She studied him. Then why are you here? He could have lied, said he was an official, a concerned citizen, anything. He didn't. I worked for the intelligence division that was monitoring Karim Hassan. I approved the operation. I made decisions that led to this. She stared. My name is Anne Mercier. My son Thomas was 28. He designed water systems for villages in Senegal. He was supposed to leave the following week. Silence. You say you made decisions. Yes. Do you believe you're responsible? Yes. Anne looked at him for a long time. I've spent 3 weeks trying to understand how this happened, read everything I could find, about Hassan, about monitoring, about all the moments where someone could have done something different. She paused. And you were one of those people. Yes. Why didn't you? Reiner thought about the 11 minutes, the files piling up, the pressure to show results, the 40 seconds moving to the next case. Because I was managing files instead of understanding people. I made decisions about someone I'd never met based on reports from people paid to test him. I was part of a system that measures success by threats identified, and I forgot the numbers were people. Anne's eyes were wet, but her voice was steady. My son is dead because you forgot he was a person. Yes. Do you expect me to forgive you? No. Good. She didn't shout, didn't cry. Every morning I wake up and for 1 second I forget. Then I remember and it breaks me again. That's the rest of my life. So no, I don't forgive you. Reiner nodded. Anne started to walk away, stopped, turned back. But I see you here. I see you in the back of this church, not hiding from what you did. That doesn't fix anything. Doesn't bring Thomas back. But it matters. Pause. Not enough, but it matters. She left. Reiner stood in the empty church for a long time. 2 months later, the city dedicated a small memorial garden, 8 stones in a circle, just names and dates. Marie Duchamp, Pascal Duchamp, Isabelle Duchamp, Robert Arnault, Geneviève Arnault, Claire Beaumont, Thomas Mercier, Sandrine Petit. Reiner came the day it opened, stood reading the names, thought about Karim at 23, rent, job interviews, messages to Amira he'd rewritten 4 times, Sunday calls to Lion. Thought about the file that said person of interest, thought about the system that turned observation into intervention and intervention into 8 stones. He came back the next week, and the week after. Kept coming. Because in reports there are frameworks, in hearings there are softened conclusions, in summaries there are passive verbs that hide who decided what, but in the garden there are only names. 8 people who went for breakfast, 8 people who didn't come home. He couldn't change that. He couldn't fix it. All he could do was remember, not let what he'd done become comfortable, not let it disappear into bureaucratic distance and institutional language. 8 people, 8 stones. He had helped kill them, not with a bomb, with a file. The end. David Reiner transferred to a desk position in early 2012, retired 2016. Sophie Vance resigned September 2011. Now works for a non-profit supporting communities affected by counterterrorism operations. Jerome Lacroix continued community work in Anderlecht, never filed another intelligence report. Patricia Gorman's full report was classified. The public summary called it a monitoring failure. No policy changes were implemented. Families of the victims filed suit, dismissed on national security grounds. Farid Mansour arrested 2012, sentenced to 15 years. Similar preventative operations continue in 17 countries. From one perspective, tragic intelligence failure. From another, the system working as designed. Identify vulnerability, apply pressure, measure response. Both perspectives exist in official records. Only one exists in stone. 8 names. and the fact that a file can kill as surely as a bomb.